And we're live.
Again with the 6th episode of HackCast.
Yep, HackCast 006.
As usual, it's me, Ivo, here. As usual, it's Rado here, but there's something unusual today.
Yeah,
and this
Gandalf's
is
here.
Rando's birthday. Rado's birthday.
Yeah, it's my 28th birthday, so we're making a special HackCast about this. It won't be about my birthday, but we're making HackCast on my birthday because why not?
Yeah.
And guys and girls from the office actually gave me Gandalf as a present because I have a beard and I'm old because I'm turning 28, so why not Gandalf? And that's why Gandalf will be joining us for the rest of the HackCasts, I guess.
Every HackCast? Sure.
Why not? Yeah.
Why not?
Gandalf's nice.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So what are we going to talk about today?
Yep, so today we're going to talk about the basics.
Django and Tract?
Django and Track, no, perhaps some other hackcasts will cover this. We'll talk about the basics of software project management, or how we do software project management here at HackSoft, and the basics that includes the tools that we use, and I guess that's it.
Mm-hmm.
For example, if you are a client and you ask, all right, so how everything is going to be set up, how are we going to communicate, how are we going to track the work and track the code and deploy the MVP and so on, what are we going to answer? And I guess this hackcast will answer this question, and we will also cover in the current teams and projects how we're doing it. So yeah, let's get right to it.
So, clients coming and saying, hey, HackSoft, we want you to build this product.
Yep.
What are going to be the first steps after we arrange the whole deal and say, okay, we are going to do it?
Yeah.
First step for me, personally, is I immediately start thinking about the whole architecture, software architecture of the project.
Yeah.
For example, is it going to be a web app? Is it going to be, what is going to be the whole architecture? Is it going to be single page application or something more casual like a normal website?
Yep.
Just to clear, mainly here we do web applications, so web-based software, mostly web. So most of our clients are a kind of clients that would require some web work, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So maybe this is the first question that is in my head. Are we going to go single page application, or are we going to go with something more casual and more, model view control style with
Yeah, that's the usual too. But I guess this goes into more of the technologies that we're going to use, the stack. The first thing that we usually do when we have a new client is to set up a communication channel with him and the team here at HackSoft, and for this we use Slack.
Yep.
Just like everyone else, and Slack is really great. We use it for internal communication, and we usually use it for client communication, and this can vary. For example, if the client is a single person, it's easier to invite him as a single channel guest or multi-channel guest in our Slack and communicate with him in our Slack. But if the client is a bigger company and we will actually have to communicate with them, then they usually invite us to their Slack. Or if our client does not have a Slack, we create a special Slack. If they want to be like something separate as a channel of communication, we create Slack and we communicate there. So this is our main communication tool. Yeah.
Yep. Did we use some other communication tools in the past?
Yeah, but they were all chats. We used HipChat, and that's
back in the days.
Yeah, we used HipChat back in the days and Slack after this, and hopefully we haven't done any email communication with clients on day-to-day basis when the project started. We usually do email communication during the negotiation, while we clear what needs to be done, the requirements, and after this we jump on Slack.
Yeah.
And I guess the good thing about Slack is that you can communicate every day with the client and actually sync with the client or ask questions with the client when you have questions, rather than wait the whole week or just fire up an email and the client won't see the email and they won't respond. So this is very crucial for us and for the software development process.
And
So
one more important thing about this Slack communication is that we don't just communicate to our client via Slack. We communicate to ourselves here in the team via Slack. Even though we are in one place, we're even within one room. We somehow managed to drive all the communication through Slack. Because there, first of all, there's a history there, and if someone is missing, for example, working from home or something like that, that one can actually check the whole Slack conversation and be always on track.
So we usually if we are communicating if we have a separate Slack for a client, we do a Slack channel for the project in our Slack and communicate there on the technical side of things, mostly in Bulgarian. And in the separate Slack, we ask product questions or whatever questions we have to the client, or figure out if something's wrong, or do debugging and do the rest of the communication there. So we usually split those things, and it works. So far, it works quite nicely. All right. What else? So Slack is for communication. Then you need to. Usually, clients want to see some structured place for the work, to see some progress of the work. What do we use for this?
At the moment, we use Trello in order to visualize the whole work and track the progress there. We are doing some communication in Trello too.
All right.
Because Trello gives you the opportunity to communicate on certain topics in the Trello cards, which is cool. We use the deadlines functionality here, because some of the cards are like more urgent. We use a lot of tags. And what else do we use there? There are plenty of add-ons, Trello power-ups, something like that. That we use. For example, a very handy one is Trello custom fields, where you can actually add more custom fields to your card. For example, field for your estimations.
All right.
Because it's not really handy to estimate in the comments. It's better to create separate fields. What else about Trello? It is.
Do you use, for example, in your team, in your project, do you use some specialized structure, like pattern of a Trello board, like Kanban or the agile sprint style, or you do whatever feels right?
Well, in every project is really different. So we are not sticking to, for example, we're going to use Kanban or something else. We are making it to be useful and to be handy for us. So I don't think we use something specific. We're just making it useful and enjoy it.
Yeah, that's what I like about Trello, is because it gives you a really simple tool that you can customize to whatever suits you, and you have like a lot of add-ons, and you have like a lot of customization options that are easy to use, and it doesn't feel heavy, for example, as Jira. And Jira is more like it has several patterns of software project management that you can use, and most of them are just not working. For example, in our project, we have like one really big Trello board, and one Trello board for the day-to-day software development, and one Trello board for the like roadmap, overall vision of where the product is going. And we kind of make weekly changes to our Trello board. We started with some agile Kanban process, which is not working, of course, because you have to work with something that follows your rhythm and your context. And we have currently a really big Trello board with a lot of columns. And it actually, we crash Trello from time to time when you drag too many cards too quickly and it suddenly freezes and you have to refresh it. But Trello feels really good. And we used to use custom fields for efforts, for estimations, but we dropped this because, again, it's not working. It's like an arbitrary process, which we can, I guess, do another HackCast about this, which is important for the non-technical people and not that important for the technical people. So we moved to the no estimation side of things.
So you're not estimating the cars at all?
No.
Okay.
So if there is something, we have priority list. If there's something urgent like a production bug, this needs to be fixed, and it needs to be fixed quick. Get it running before you get it done. For example, even if it means a dirty hack, you do the dirty hack, and after this, think about the proper solution. Then if there's a priority from the team that's using the software, for example, they see that some of their process is a bit different from what the software is giving them, then we change this. It's again a higher priority, and priorities change, like they can change daily, and that's why we have a planned card and a lot of different backlogs. But what's in planned is with the highest priority, and things in planned can actually move back.
Okay. How many columns do you have?
Well, like over 20.
Over 20. Oh,
Yeah, I have a lot of columns. Yeah, to organize everything.
Some people say that Trello is not really powerful tool because it's so simple and doesn't really give you the ability of, for example, abilities that Jira gives you, the more heavy tools. But I think that if you invest some time in building your own Trello world, it kind of pays back a lot.
Yeah, indeed. And I guess Jira is suitable for people that love the thing that Jira gives them and the analytics that Jira gives them, because some people like to see burn down charts, what's the team velocity, and so on and so forth. And if this is working for them, it's great.
Yep.
For our team, we saw that this is not working, and we're sticking with something that's actually working right now. The thing that we measure is how often we merge and deploy to production, and how quick we can move a feature from a plant to some kind of ready to deploy stage. This is for our current project and our current team. And I guess this is the most important thing. You have to do it in your context and find out what's working for you.
Yep.
And not follow blindly some design patterns or software project management patterns and so on.
And the management tool needs to be fast. That is one of the most important things. I don't know if it's only for Bulgaria, but Jira is really, really slow from my experience.
Yeah.
I mean, it takes like 4 seconds to load the whole dashboard.
Yeah,
which is
still slow.
Yeah,
but I guess it's they've done some optimizations, but they support way too many things, and I guess they're at the point where you cannot optimize it because you have to start dropping features if you want to optimize it.
Probably yes.
Yeah. So Slack for communication, Trello for the work, cards, overall progress, who is working on what. What else? What other tools do we use?
For code, for source control.
Yeah, source control.
Yeah, we use GitHub.
Yep.
I think we have always used GitHub. No. We started with Bitbucket because it was kind of free for private repos.
Yeah.
At some point we decided to switch, but why?
It's better. It's just better. GitHub, the UI is better. People are used to GitHub because the other open source code is there, your personal work is there, and you use one tool. You don't have to manage 2 accounts, and you're familiar with the UI and the skills that you have from, for example, from your personal projects or from open source are completely transferable to, for example, the projects that you're working in the company that you're working.
Yep.
So
most third-party tools actually integrate pretty good with.
Yep, pretty good integrations with GitHub. And we started with Bitbucket because we were bootstrapping, and the price when we were starting was too high. But at some point,
they actually drop it a lot. Drop the prices a lot.
Yeah, thanks to Bitbucket, thanks to competition, I guess. But at some point, we made the calculation and we decided to go with GitHub because it's a familiar tool and you have to support one thing less, because then we were using Jira and we were using Confluence, and it was really easy to use Bitbucket, but then we dropped Jira, we dropped Confluence, and we were keeping our Atlassian account just for Bitbucket, and if we drop this, one account less to manage. So yeah, GitHub, we have HackSoft at GitHub where we keep the open source that we do, where we keep our projects, for example, the website. And for some of the clients that are completely non-technical and then they don't know why they need GitHub, we host their code on our GitHub while it's being developed, and after this we transfer it to their GitHub.
Yes.
Yeah. for our clients, they have their own GitHubs and they just add us there, and we write our code there. But GitHub pull requests, something about the way we use Git and GitHub.
Something specific. We open a lot of pull requests because when you start working on something, we open the pull request the first day.
Right.
So we are having a lot of pull requests that are still work in progress.
Yep.
But this is how you visualize that these are the branches that we're currently working on. We use some labels for the pull request, like work in progress, needs something to be merged on another repo before merging this. For example, when you have two repositories for one project, for example, backend and frontend.
That's smart.
Yeah,
that's smart.
Because we had cases when you merge the frontend and the backend is not done.
Yeah,
you actually broke the. What else do we use there? There is something like a task management system in GitHub.
Yep.
They introduced it recently, but I haven't actually used it. I think it's more for open source project to get a better understanding of what's the roadmap of the open source project. So we don't use Trail for this.
Yeah.
There is a Trail integration with GitHub that is not working really great.
You tried using it?
Yes. It's nice because you may link your Trail card with your pull request.
All right.
So when you open the card, you see what's the status of the pull request. Is the build passing, things like that. But for example, when you merge the pull request, the card doesn't automatically go to other column.
All right.
So we have been in many situations where you open Trail and you like there are 10 cars that are ready to be reviewed, and you open GitHub and see no pull request there. Right. So this is basically legacy cars that need to be moved. Yeah. Something specific about GitHub? I don't know. I think that's it.
Yeah, that's basically it.
GitHub. I think everyone uses it. Almost everyone.
Almost, yeah. So no force pushes in master.
This is protected branches.
Protected branches.
Branches. Code reviews. A lot of code reviews.
We use protected branches too.
Yes.
The way we do it in our team is when you start working on a new feature, when you start working on something new, you have to open the pull request as soon as you have like even one line of code. You have to push the commit and open the pull request. And we use labels, mainly two labels, which are work in progress, which means someone's still working on this, or for review. Because sometimes we have like 15 pull requests in parallel, and when you open it and you want to do a quick review for something, you can easily filter, all right, just give me the pull requests that are for review, and I won't watch the other pull requests. And of course, protected branches. Sometimes we base before merge, sometimes we don't. We're not strict with this.
Okay.
As long as there are no merge conflicts, we usually do. Before you merge your pull request, the last thing that we do is interactive rebase. If you have fix-ups, if you have typos in your commit messages, or if you can squash few commits, and then you merge into master, and then the CI takes over. So GitHub for source control, it's pretty standard. We have some different rules in the different teams, but it's pretty standard. And then let's talk about CI. What's CI?
So CI is the continuous integration.
Yep.
Basically helps with a lot of things,
yep,
especially for running the tests and deploying.
Yeah.
Actually, this is the main two purposes that we're using the CI for. Running the tests, pretty simple. Just run all the tests. It's a little bit time consuming.
Yeah.
So in most of the cases, our clients get their own CIs.
Yeah.
We are using CodeShip for some of the projects.
CodeShip
and Circle CI.
Yeah.
For the open source project, we are using Travis.
Yeah.
I think we're still using Travis.
Yeah, we're still using Travis.
Yes. I don't actually find many differences between these CIs.
They serve the same purpose.
Yeah, serve the same purpose. CodeShip is working always with Dockers. So if you
Docker containers.
Yeah, Docker containers. So if you need a CI that runs virtual machines, not Docker containers, then maybe we should jump to Circle CI.
But Circle CI can use Dockers too.
Yes.
It's like maybe the default in documentation.
Yes, it is. It is the default, but you can switch it. I think Circle CI is a little bit more advanced as features, as customizations. Um, Travis is the most expensive for sure,
Yeah.
but it is free for open source projects.
Yeah.
So we use it for open source projects.
We don't yet have Jenkins for our own projects. I guess we haven't got the time to set it up and to learn it properly. But the thing that I find quite confusing and difficult about CIs is there are two teams. Team one says configuration should be in the source control in Git, and it should be in. We're writing in Python. This may sound really strange. It should be in YAML, which is like the worst configuration language for me. It's really hard to read. This is me, of course. For me, I read it really hard, especially when you start doing the nesting.
Yeah.
And we write in Python, but we try to write better code. That's not that much nested. And the other one, this is like Circle, CI, and Travis. They say configuration is in YAML, and you have to push it. And then on the other side, you have CodeShip, where configuration is in the interface of CodeShip.
Yeah.
So first question to you, which one do you like better?
Actually, it's always complex when the CI steps are a lot and there is some complex building process. So no matter if it is in the YAML file gets too big, ugly. If it's in the interface there gets too big, which is again hard to maintain. I like to have the YAML configuration in the source control because you got the history there, and you may see who changed what, when, and how. So yes, I think that keeping your YAML configuration in the source control in the source is a good idea.
All right.
But I don't really mind to use it in the provider's interface too.
Yeah,
it's okay.
Yeah, for me, I find CodeShip to be the easiest to use because it's plain just write bash commands and so on and so forth. You look if we are recording. Or
I look that our battery is getting low.
Our battery is getting low, so perhaps we should do a magical pause.
Yes.
We're talking about CodeShip. We're going to be right back.
In a couple of seconds.
In a couple of seconds, yeah.
Okay. We're back,
yeah. So, everything's good. We're talking about CodeShip. So, but I guess we can do another HackCast in more details about the configurations and the different options for Circle CI and CodeShip. But mostly CIs, they run tests and they run linters.
Yep.
And after this, they can be really helpful. For example, if there is a push to master with a successful build, deploy it to dev or to staging. And you can do this for both the front end and the back end. If you're using CloudFront, for example, you can run caching validation in the CI. And in our project, we deploy entirely via the CI. We have staging branch and production branch. And if you want to deploy to staging or production, you go to those branches. You have to merge with fast forward only. You push it, CI takes it, builds it. If the build is successful, it deploys it to either staging or production, and the production deploys always do database backups. And it's working because we were deploying with scripts manually. We were deploying manually with scripts and clicking around Heroku, and this works the best. It's like you don't need the proper local state for the script. You just push in a branch.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's the exact thing that we are doing.
Yep.
So yeah, just if you can automate the process, it's better automated. If you have a continuous integration, then use this continuous integration to automate your process.
Yeah. And this actually enables everyone to deploy. Otherwise, it's like, can you tell me what the deploy script is doing?
Yeah.
Otherwise, people are kind of afraid to run shell scripts on their computer that deploys to production.
But at the same time, this could be a little bit dangerous because you may accidentally deploy something if you don't know, for example, that every merge in master deploys to somewhere.
Yeah, of course, every merge master should not deploy to production. It should deploy to some dev environment that's okay to be down or failed or in inconsistent state. But otherwise, you know who deployed what because you have the history in your CI builds.
Yeah.
Who did the merge, who did the push.
Yep.
All right, so that's CI. So CIs are I think we should invest more time and get really better at working with CI. Circle CI, we're doing this in the past few weeks, I guess, and it's pretty powerful. We're running some test automation frameworks there, and I guess we should do another HackCast about this. But CIs are really important, and they kind of makes it feel more comfortable and easy to develop and deploy.
Yeah, so many HackCasts are coming.
So many, yeah, we'll be doing like 100 and more HackCasts. So
yeah,
we'll talk about for our topics. And what else? After the CI, it's being we were just to segue here. We were using Ansible scripts at some point.
Yes.
And actually, you wrote them all, so you can tell a little bit more about them.
So back in the days, we were using plain virtual machines
Yeah.
to host everything. Which has some downsides. For example, you have to have really good understanding about how to deploy something, how is the whole infrastructure working, where is your database, where is your web server, who is keeping the web server alive, different processes, upstart jobs, cron tabs, things like that.
Yeah.
Which is, of course, I think important for every developer to know how the whole infrastructure that he's working on works. But again, you need to have a deep understanding of this, and something may go wrong really easily.
Yeah.
Especially if you don't pay enough attention. So that's why we decided to switch to some platform that gives you more features out of the box, gives you more opportunities and automations. Now we're using Heroku for almost everything. I think for everything.
For everything right now, we're using Heroku for everything.
First reason, a lot of things are done there, and you don't have to think for them. Routing, databases, queues, message queues, logs, everything that you basically need is there. Downside, of course, it's a little bit more expensive.
It's a bit more expensive,
but it's definitely worth it because it saves a ton of time.
For sure, And the interface is not. It has the same compound effect as GitHub, because once you learn Heroku, you can deal with all the projects, and you know where to look for the logs, or for the environment variables, or for the build packs. And the other thing is it's quite stable, and it removes the need for DevOps in every project. Otherwise, there's like a constant let's modify the Ansible script for our needs, let's spin another machine just for this, let's SSH, and my SSH keys are not there, so who has the root access, which for some projects at some point is like you need to go to either virtual machines or like real physical machines. Steel, as we call, as you say it in Bulgarian. But so far, for our clients that are running in production, we think that, we see that Heroku is doing pretty good. And it serves a really good purpose, because the clients also have access to Heroku, and it's an interface.
Yes, it's common interface between all of the projects. It's not like on this project we are using Ansible, on this project we are using Bash scripts, on this project we are using what was the alternative of Ansible? Puppet, Jeff, so everyone knows how to work with Heroku, and this is really time saving. I think at the end of the day, it comes way cheaper for our clients to use Heroku rather than giving us some money to set up the whole infrastructure for them.
Including a DevOps role in every team or project. If they have DevOps, of course, we go with this. It's not like we cannot do this, but it's time saving.
Time saving is the key here.
Time saving is really key, because you get more productive teams, and you can get your product or website or whatever on production live to be used by real clients sooner rather than later. We solve this DevOps setup.
The one thing I like a lot about Heroku is that you can set up a staging environment in like 5 minutes. So when a client comes in and says, hey, let's build this, and you're like, okay, in 5 minutes I'm going to send you the staging link so you can have a live view of what you're doing.
Yeah.
It's not like, hey, next week the staging environment is going to be ready and we're going to invest 5 days in building the whole infrastructure.
I guess you can end up with the same thing with Ansible and, for example, S3, not S3, but AWS machines. You can make the abstraction, you can make the UI. There are open source tools which will serve the same purpose, but so far for us, for now, for the scale that we have and for the time pressure that we usually have, Heroku is the best choice so far.
Yeah. We actually invested a lot of doing some custom Ansible scripts.
Yeah,
and
we have Cookie Cutter.
Yes, automation there, but it never performed so
it
good
never
as
paid
Heroku.
off
Yeah,
that well.
Yeah, never paid off.
As Heroku. Right, so which means we host everything right now on Heroku, and we're happy with it. We're really happy with it. We started Dockerizing. We actually Dockerized our project for the test automation framework that we wrote, and I guess at some point it's worth to invest more in Docker because it seems like
the technology for this thing.
Yeah, a comfortable thing to know and to use. So yeah, what else? I think we covered.
What else? We use AWS for some of their products.
Yeah.
For example, static storage files,
media files,
static
files. We use S3.
S3 for sure. CloudFront
we
from
use
times to times. What else? The simple email sending service.
SES. SES.
Yes.
Yeah. Also pretty good.
Yes.
It's easy to set up.
What else?
So we use some of the AWS projects like S3 everywhere. We're pretty familiar with it. All the Reacts are hosted there on S3.
Yes.
And with CloudFront.
It's a little bit of a pain for the domains in Heroku.
Yeah, there is a pain with root level domains, SSL, not exactly SSL.
Not SSL. It's a pain with root level domains pointing directly to Heroku.
Yeah.
You can't really do this. You have to redirect your root level domain to www.domain.
Yeah.
So you can't use your root level, which is a pain. And the other pain there is that the pricing is not really flexible for me. I think, for example, hey, I'm paying $10 a month, and I have a little bit more traffic. Can I start paying $15 per month? And they're like, no, you have to start with, for example, $100. Your next step is like
this
far away.
This is AWS or
this is Heroku.
Heroku. This is Heroku.
The pricing is not really flexible.
Yeah, for big scale for sure. If we have like a really big scale, we should go to, for example, AWS infrastructure with Ansible scripts, but then there's going to be time and budget to invest into this and build it properly.
But then it's worth it. I mean,
then it's worth it.
For really big scale, it's worth it to invest time.
Yeah, because so far, some of our products are used on daily basis from a lot of users, and they're doing pretty well with Heroku.
Yes.
If the code is optimized and you cache use cache smartly, you can avoid the big scaling for a pretty long time.
Yes, and another good thing there is that scaling is easy in terms of, hey, I need more machines.
Yeah.
Here are the money. Just give me the machines, and they're going to get prepared, and everything is going to be smoothly.
Yep.
Which is sometimes important.
Yep.
You don't have to manually make all this, or do some kind of automation.
And that's
I think that's are the main tools.
Those are the basics
that
are
the basics.
Most common in our projects. For some projects, we use Madrill, for example.
Yeah, email sending
because it has nice templating UI, which is always pain with emails.
Yes.
What else do we use? Database always Postgres, message queue, RabbitMQ.
Yeah.
Those are the defaults for us, and we use them and we're familiar with them.
Domains, whatever
the client's using.
Yeah.
Usually the Amazon, what was it, Route 53, 66, 83.
To be
Around
honest,
something.
it's usually GoDaddy. Because
GoDaddy or Namecheap,
most of our clients say, "Hey, we already bought a domain, it's okay," and we're like, "Oh, from where did you get this domain?"
And you go to GoDaddy, no, I won't make a GoDaddy joke.
Oh, something important: error tracking and.
Sentry.
Sentry.
This is long live Sentry.
Yes, this is one of the life-saving tools that we're using.
Yeah. Oh, almost forgot about it.
Yes, it is really nice and. Basically, it's perfect.
Yeah.
Whenever you receive some kind of error, just send it. It just sends the error there, and it's stored. You can receive notification. You can receive live calls, for example, whatever. All the stack trace is there. You don't have to dig into some enormous logs and read what's going on.
Yeah. So if you don't know Sentry, this is like a service that you send logs when there's an exceptional behavior, for example, in your backend. If there's an unhandled exception that's raised from somewhere, Sentry is going to receive this exception and you're going to receive a notification. We usually set a Sentry bot in Slack, both our Slack and to the client Slack, and we have a dedicated channel where the Sentry bot is actually writing when there are errors. And we do this for the backend and the front end, and it's really a lifesaver because we catch a lot of the bugs while testing on staging or early on production because we get the Sentry error. And we also in our project we use it for logging not uncaught exceptions, but exceptional state.
Some kind of warnings.
Some kind of warnings, yes. Some kind of this should never happen, or this is really strange that that's actually happening. And we log, and this helped us a lot during a lot of new feature releases with third-party integrations, which are behaving sometimes strange. Like all the time, third-party integrations are behaving strange. So yeah, good catch. Sentry is a lifesaver. It's really great tool.
Yep. And I think that's it.
That's
are the main tools.
Those are the basics. Those are the basics that we cannot write software with. That we can, but it's going to be like not that good of a quality that we want to be and that our clients want to be. So we use those tools in almost every project that we have, and they're really helping.
And time saving.
Yeah. And I think that's a good overview of the basics for software projects management and development.
Yeah.
And we can go into details in our HackCasts, but that's it for now. What else? Any closing words? If you have questions,
you can always ask them in
whatever comment section you're
YouTube,
currently watching
Facebook,
this. Twitter have HackSoft HackCast account where you can or HackSoft where you can ask. For example, if you wonder about more details from the overview that we did, or you have a question about how we do things at HackSoft that's related to, for example, software development, just ask us and we will gladly answer.
Yep.
Because
you can use the private messages too if you don't want your comment to be public. So
of course you can use the private message. And that's it. That's it for now.
Yep.
End of HackCast 006. Thank you for watching and thank you for listening, and have a great week, because I guess you'll be watching this next week.
Depends when we release it.
Yeah, it depends on when we release it and upload it. And that's it. Bye.
Bye.